There are seasons in life when everything around you seems silent. You pray, you work, you keep believing, and yet the answer does not seem to come. The door remains closed. The opportunity delays itself. The life you imagined feels farther away than ever before. In these moments, the heart begins to ask dangerous questions. Did I hear God wrong? Was this dream ever meant for me? Why does it feel like everyone else is moving forward except me? This is the exact place where most people surrender, not because they are weak, but because delay often disguises itself as defeat. And yet, this is where one of the deepest truths about destiny must be understood. What God has truly prepared for you cannot miss you. If heaven assigned it to your life, no person can steal it. If it carries your name in the divine order of things, no closed door can erase it. The tragedy is that many people quit in the very season where everything is already aligning behind the scenes. They mistake silence for abandonment. They mistake waiting for rejection. They mistake preparation for punishment. But what if this season is not working against you? What if it is working for you? Napoleon Hill often spoke about desire, faith, and persistence as forces that shape reality. But beyond ambition, there is something even more profound: the spiritual law of alignment. Sometimes what feels like nothing happening is actually the moment where God is shaping the version of you who can carry what you asked for. Because blessings received before maturity often become burdens. A relationship before healing becomes another wound. Money before discipline becomes another loss. Influence before character becomes destruction. So what if the delay is mercy? What if God is protecting the future by preparing you in the present? This is difficult to accept because human nature wants immediate evidence. We want signs, we want movement, we want visible confirmation. But some of the most important things in life grow where the eyes cannot yet see. A seed beneath the soil looks lifeless before it becomes a forest. Nothing visible, nothing impressive, nothing that others can applaud. And yet, everything is happening. Roots are being formed. Strength is being built. A foundation is being laid in silence. This is why you cannot allow this current moment to deceive you. The absence of visible progress is not the absence of divine movement. Sometimes heaven works in hidden places. Sometimes the answer is already on its way while you are still being prepared to recognize it. Because destiny is not only about the blessing reaching you, it is also about you becoming the person capable of receiving it. Many people pray for something extraordinary while still thinking from a place of fear. They ask for abundance but expect lack. They ask for love but anticipate betrayal. They ask for peace while feeding anxiety. And life often reflects the deepest belief of the soul. This is why faith is more than words. Faith is the discipline of continuing to believe when circumstances offer no proof. It is easy to trust when everything is working. Real faith begins when nothing around you confirms what is inside you. Can you still move when the road looks empty? Can you still believe when the timeline no longer makes sense? Can you still hold on when every voice around you tells you to give up? This is where lives are transformed. Not in the moment of arrival, but in the moment of decision. The decision to keep going. The decision to trust. The decision to refuse surrender. The people who eventually receive what God prepared are rarely the most talented. Often, they are simply the ones who refuse to stop. They kept building in obscurity. They kept believing through silence. They kept walking through confusion. They kept showing up even when nothing made sense. And then one day, what looked impossible suddenly begins to move. A call arrives. A door opens. A connection appears. A long-awaited breakthrough finally reaches them. And people call it luck. But it was never luck. It was preparation meeting divine timing. It was the invisible becoming visible. It was the answer that had been moving toward them all along. If this message is speaking directly to your spirit, comment this phrase below: "What God prepared will find me." Write it as a declaration, not for the algorithm, for your own soul. Because sometimes, the words you repeat become the beliefs that reshape your reality. Hold on to this truth tonight. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are being prepared. And what God has assigned to your life is already moving toward you. Do not give up now, because many people walk away one step before the miracle. There comes a point in every journey where the weight is no longer external. It is no longer about the closed doors, the delayed answers, or the opportunities that did not come when you expected them to. The real battle begins within, because after enough waiting, the mind starts creating stories. Stories that sound like truth. Maybe it's never going to happen. Maybe I'm not chosen. Maybe I missed my chance. Maybe God gave this life to someone else. This is the silent war that destroys more dreams than failure ever could. It is not circumstance. It is interpretation. Napoleon Hill understood something most people never fully realize. The mind does not simply respond to reality. It helps create the way reality is experienced. The moment you begin to emotionally accept defeat, your actions start to mirror that belief. You pray less. You move less. You stop preparing. You stop expecting. And slowly, without noticing, you begin to abandon the very future that was still trying to reach you. That is why the enemy of destiny is often discouragement, not pain, not opposition, discouragement. Because discouragement convinces you to stop before the harvest. Think about how many people quit in the middle of transformation. They stop just before the breakthrough. They walk away just before the answer. They give up just before the season changes. And later, they call life unfair. But sometimes it was not life. Sometimes it was timing. Sometimes it was a test of endurance. Because what God prepares is not always released the moment you ask for it. Sometimes it is released the moment you are ready to sustain it. There is a powerful difference between receiving something and keeping it. Many people receive blessings. Few are prepared to keep them. This is why persistence is spiritual. Persistence is proof that your faith is deeper than your feelings. Anyone can believe when life is easy. Anyone can feel inspired when results are immediate. But can you remain faithful when heaven feels silent? Can you keep building when the evidence is invisible? Can you continue preparing for something that has not yet arrived? That is the posture of a person who truly trusts divine timing. Because trust says, even if I cannot see it, I know it is moving. There are things happening beyond your sight right now. People you have not met yet. Opportunities still being formed. Doors still being aligned. Conversations taking place in rooms you have never entered. What belongs to you may already be moving through the hands of someone who does not even know your name yet. This is why surrendering too early is so dangerous. You may be walking away from something that is already one step away from manifestation. Hill taught that desire must be joined with unwavering belief, but belief is tested in delay. Delay reveals what truly lives in the heart. Do you believe only when it is convenient? Or do you believe when it hurts? Do you believe when nothing around you reflects your prayer? Do you believe when the world gives you reasons to doubt? This is where character is forged. This is where spiritual resilience is born. Because God often uses waiting to strengthen what success would otherwise weaken. The person you are becoming in this season matters just as much as the blessing itself, maybe more. Because if success arrived without inner transformation, it could destroy you. Imagine receiving abundance while still carrying scarcity in your thinking. Imagine receiving love while still carrying fear in your heart. Imagine receiving influence while still being ruled by insecurity. What should elevate you would begin to consume you. So perhaps this season is not punishment. Perhaps it is construction. A deep internal reconstruction of your identity. Because the life prepared for you requires a stronger version of you, a calmer mind, a deeper faith, a more disciplined spirit, a heart less dependent on visible confirmation. This is why you must protect your thoughts now. Do not let temporary circumstances define eternal possibilities. What you see today is not the final chapter. A delay is only a chapter. It is not the story. A closed door is only a moment. It is not your destiny. There is something powerful about continuing to prepare in the absence of results. It tells heaven that your faith is real. It tells your mind that you are still aligned. It tells your spirit that surrender is not an option. So keep becoming, keep believing, keep moving. Keep preparing the room for the life you prayed for. Because one day, what seemed delayed will arrive with such force that you will understand why it could not have happened sooner. And when that day comes, you will realize that every silent season had purpose. Every tear had purpose. Every lonely night had purpose. Every unanswered prayer was shaping the moment of arrival. If this is speaking to where you are right now, comment this phrase below: delay is not denial. Let that sentence become your anchor, because what God has prepared for you is still on its way. And the only thing you must not do now is stop. There is a moment in every spiritual and mental transformation when you stop asking, "Why is this taking so long?" and begin asking a far more powerful question: who am I becoming through this process? That question changes everything, because the greatest shift does not happen first in your circumstances. It happens in your identity. Napoleon Hill understood that before the external world changes, the internal world must first be reordered. The mind, the emotions, the expectations, the way you interpret setbacks, the meaning you assign to silence, all of it must be transformed. Many people want a new life while thinking with the same mind that created their current limitations. They want extraordinary results with ordinary beliefs. They want divine doors to open while still entertaining fear, doubt, and a quiet expectation of failure. But what if this season is the exact moment God is teaching you to think beyond what you currently see? Because what is meant for you is not simply waiting somewhere in the future. It is already moving. The problem is that most people imagine destiny as a straight line. They expect a visible road, a logical sequence, a predictable timeline. But life rarely unfolds that way. Sometimes what belongs to you begins to move long before you can perceive it. A connection is being formed. A decision is being made. Someone is being positioned. A door is quietly opening in a place you have never looked. And while all of this is happening, you may still be sitting in a season that feels empty. This is why you must never measure divine movement solely by visible evidence. There are seasons where everything important happens invisibly. Think of the moments in your life that changed everything. How often did the breakthrough announce itself in advance? Almost never. One phone call, one conversation, one opportunity, one unexpected encounter, one sudden shift, and the life that once felt stuck begins to move in ways you never imagined. People call it coincidence, but often it is alignment. It is preparation meeting divine timing. It is God allowing everything to arrive at the exact moment you are finally able to receive it. Because timing is not only about the blessing, it is about the condition of your soul when the blessing arrives. Would you have recognized it 6 months ago? Would you have been ready a year ago? Would you have had the emotional maturity to keep it? These are the questions that most people never ask. They only focus on when. But heaven is often focused on who. Who are you becoming? Who will you be when the opportunity arrives? Who will you be when the relationship comes? Who will you be when abundance reaches your hands? This is why the process matters. It purifies intention. It strengthens faith. It teaches discernment. Because sometimes the greatest gift is not the thing itself. It is the transformation required to receive it. The waiting season forces you to confront yourself. It reveals every fear you still carry, every insecurity, every hidden belief that tells you you are not enough. And this is where true growth begins, not in comfort, but in confrontation. The confrontation between who you are now and who you are called to become. Hill often emphasized that persistence is one of the rarest and most valuable traits in achievement. But persistence is not only action, it is identity. It is the refusal to let temporary silence define permanent truth. It is the discipline of moving forward while your emotions try to convince you to stop, because emotions are temporary. Destiny is larger than emotion. Your current feelings are not the final authority over your future. Some days you will feel strong. Other days you will feel tired. Some mornings you will wake up full of faith. Other nights you will feel forgotten. But none of that changes what has already been prepared. What belongs to you does not disappear because of one difficult season. A temporary storm does not cancel a divine promise. This is why you must stop interpreting every delay as loss. Sometimes life is simply repositioning you. Sometimes what you thought was a closed door was actually redirection. Sometimes what felt like rejection was protection. Sometimes what looked like loss was the removal of what would have blocked your future. There are people who left your life because they were not meant to walk into your next season. There are opportunities that vanished because they were too small for what is coming. There are plans that collapsed because heaven had something larger in mind. This is why surrendering now would be a tragedy, because what is moving toward you may already be closer than you think. A breakthrough often feels impossible right before it arrives. The darkest hour always tries to convince you that morning will never come, but morning comes anyway. And so, will your moment. If this part is reaching your heart, comment this phrase below. What is meant for me is already moving. Write it with conviction, because sometimes your soul needs to hear your own voice declare what your mind has been doubting. Stay with me. The final part will bring everything together. There comes a day when everything that once felt delayed suddenly begins to make sense. The silence, the waiting, the tears you cried in private, the prayers that seemed unanswered, the doors that closed without explanation, the people who walked away, the plans that collapsed, the nights when you questioned whether God had forgotten you. One day, all of it will stand before you not as pain, but as proof. Proof that every season had a purpose, because what God prepares does not arrive randomly. It arrives at the intersection of timing, readiness, and alignment. And when that moment comes, it often happens faster than you imagined. For months, maybe years, nothing seems to move. Then suddenly everything changes. A breakthrough arrives. A connection appears. A door opens. An opportunity finds you. A prayer you almost stopped praying is answered. And in that moment, you realize something profound. God was never absent. He was arranging. While you were worrying, He was positioning. While you were doubting, He was preparing. While you were crying in silence, He was building something beyond your sight. This is why faith is not blindness. Faith is trust in the unseen process. Napoleon Hill taught that the mind must hold an image long enough for reality to reorganize around it. But when that vision is aligned with God's will, it carries even greater power. Because what begins as desire in the heart can become destiny in motion. The problem is that most people stop too soon. They give up in the valley. They surrender in the silence. They let temporary emotions decide permanent outcomes. And later, they wonder what might have happened if they had endured just a little longer. Do not be that person. Do not let this season convince you to abandon what was assigned to your life. Because many miracles are missed by inches. Many destinies are abandoned one step before manifestation. Many people walk away the moment before the answer arrives. The enemy of your future is not always failure. Sometimes it is exhaustion. Sometimes it is discouragement. Sometimes it is the quiet lie that says, nothing is changing. But something is changing. You are changing. Your spirit is becoming stronger. Your mind is becoming clearer. Your faith is becoming deeper. Your discernment is becoming sharper. And the version of you that once would have broken under pressure is slowly becoming the person who can carry what is coming. This is why the process was necessary, because the blessing is not only the thing you receive, the blessing is who you become while waiting. Think about that. Maybe the greatest miracle was never the door. Maybe it was the transformation of your heart. The peace you learned in uncertainty. The resilience you discovered in pain. The faith you built in silence. The strength you found when you had every reason to quit. That strength will remain long after the breakthrough arrives. And when what was prepared finally finds you, you will not receive it as the old version of yourself. you will receive it as someone stronger, wiser, calmer, more grounded, more aligned with the life you were called to live. This is why you must keep going, even if today still feels heavy, even if the answer still seems distant, even if nothing visible has changed yet. Because sometimes the final test before breakthrough is whether you can remain faithful in the absence of evidence. Can you keep walking? Can you keep believing? Can you keep showing up? Can you keep praying? Can you keep preparing the room for the life you ask God for? Because when it arrives, it often comes suddenly. What took years to prepare can manifest in a single moment. One call, one meeting, one decision, one unexpected turn, and everything changes. Then you will look back and understand. The delay was not punishment. The silence was not abandonment. The waiting was not wasted. It was all preparation. So tonight, hold this truth close to your soul. What God has prepared for you is already on its way. Do not let fear make you stop. Do not let exhaustion make you surrender. Do not let delay make you doubt what heaven has already written. Because what carries your name will find you at the right time, in the right way, through the right door. And when it does, every tear, every prayer, every sleepless night will finally make sense. If this message spoke deeply to your spirit, comment this phrase below: I will not give up now. Let that be your declaration, not just for today, for this entire season of your life. Because the life God prepared for you may be closer than you have ever imagined.